So this is my story of being a highly sensitive person. Won't go on too long. I don't want to bore anybody, but it's really not, doesn't have anything to do with the idea of the psychological evaluation of being an empath, or I know there's a lot of material out there about empaths and sensitive people. So this is just my experience of it, and everybody's going to have their own experience. As a boy, I was incredibly sensitive. I would say the first 4 years of my life, I had this sensitivity that I couldn't explain, but as a kid, you're not really evaluating yourself or going deep within to figure things out in your life. I just know that I was sensitive. I was very connected to nature. I played outside a lot. I felt connected to the trees and the animals. I also felt very connected to my family and their emotions and what they were going through. And I was kind of like this jokester. I wanted to entertain my family when they appeared to be going through a hard time. So I would entertain them. I would go out and I would dance around and anything to kind of lighten the situation. I felt like I had that kind of responsibility, or that want, I should say, not even a responsibility, that need to lighten things up in my environment, because I could feel at a very deep level. I would say at about the age of 4, things shifted. Our family had moved from California to Washington State, and at that point, it was just a lot of intensity. There was a lot of resistance to the sensitivity that I was feeling. From this perspective, I was taking on other people's feelings. I was ignoring my own feelings. I was putting up a shield, whether that be in the schoolroom or whether that be at home. I just didn't want, it was just too intense. The feeling, the anger or the sadness from other people, the even the joy was so intense. So I just kind of put up a shield, basically, and putting up that shield made it hard for me to express myself to, whether that be my friends and my family, the people that were in my environment. I was just kind of the quiet listener, and I never really made an effort to express all of the feelings that I was feeling. My intuition, it came from a fearful place, as opposed to, what would the opposite be? A joyful or compassionate and understanding place. How I picked up on feelings, I felt like, oh, okay, that's so much fear, and I don't want to feel that, so I didn't express myself. I didn't want to know what was going on with other people. It got to that point because I felt I already knew, but I just didn't want to know, so that's where the shield came up. Crowds became too much. Being around negative people became too much. I would just retreat. I would just take off and hide because I didn't know how to deal with it, basically. So this was, through grade school and through high school. I was a very creative child. I felt like I got along with people, but it was always kind of a front that I put on, basically. And no one really knew what was going on inside of me, and I didn't want anybody to either. This, after a while, turned into the sense that there was something wrong with me, and I think a lot of empaths and sensitive people feel that. They feel like there's something wrong with me. That's an underlining belief. Because of the sensitivity, you look around and you're the only one that feels so much. It's that sense of isolation, that feeling of being alone in the world, and not having any desire to explore the range of emotions and the range of sensitivity and feelings that you're actually feeling. I think we do feel like outcast, in a sense, sensitive people. empathic people feel like they don't belong. And that's natural. A lot of people feel that way. I couldn't fit in. There were just only a few people that I could stand being around. And there were people that were attracted to me for some reason, and I was attracted to them, and it was a comfortable feeling to be around them. And even so, I still, even though I had close friends, it wasn't like I could still tell them what was going on inside of me. Or maybe I could, but I just didn't feel, I still had that shield up. What became my therapy basically was being in peaceful places, separating myself from negative people, going out into nature. I started to learn this more and more, that that's how I was able to cope, because I felt that nature and the trees and the water and the animals, they understood me more than people do. And I think there's a lot of people out there that like animals more than people, and that was one of those people. So after my NDE, my near-death experience, I have a video about that, but basically after my near-death experience, this feeling of sensitivity, it even increased 1,000-fold from where I had been in the past. And it was like I had no choice but to deal with it. And I'm laughing because all of those years of resisting the sensitivity and feeling other people's feelings and resisting my own feelings, it was like, bam, like, here you go. Like, you have no choice, but this is, being served on a platter of all of the emotions you've ever experienced that you denied, and they were right there in front of you, and you had no choice but to go through them. So that resistance to the sensitivity, to the feelings, to feeling other people's feelings, I turned that inward, and I started to take responsibility for that. So it wasn't about the other person so much. It was about how to cope with, how to heal, how to clear within myself those feelings, that sensitivity, and how to, I knew that there was something special about it, and that's what I wanted to discover, like this mystery of this just incredible sensitivity. There was a mystery to it, and I knew that I began to see that there was a positive aspect to it as opposed to a negative aspect to it. So that whole duality kind of shifted from the negative part to discovering that there was a beauty in it, and that took a while, that inner looking, not to be able to say, oh, well, that person made me feel that way, or oh, this is a negative situation, I can't be here. I had to stand in it, and I had to be with it in a way where I wasn't blaming or pointing fingers to other people. So after my ND, it was about dealing with this resistance within me, coming to an understanding that it's me, it's not them. And what helped me through that, again, was nature, being with nature, being in peace, and learning to appreciate myself, all parts of myself, learning to love myself. I know that has become a cliche, just love yourself, but really, truly appreciating who I was through this whole process of healing, my body, and dealing with the unsurmountable amount of emotions that were there after I had this near-death experience. And then it became about, after this inner healing, it became about not making it personal. So my emotions and my thoughts, they were there and they showed up in my life, but I wasn't making them personal. I was able to move through them in a way that was kind of undetached. So through this whole thing, this is just a snippet, just a flash, a picture of my life. And like everyone's life is so much more complicated. But really the point of this is what I've discovered with people that are very sensitive and very empathic is they have an incredible task to transform emotions and experiences in a way that other people have difficulty doing. And the gift is, well, there are many gifts, but from this perspective, the gift has been, knowing what truth is, being able to sense what truth is in each moment. When somebody speaks and tells you something, you know whether or not that is true for you. I mean, there are so many gifts. You think about people that are really intuitive or empathic or sensitive. I mean, you could be in sales and you could do really, really well in sales because you have a sense about how to guide the sale along and to make a sale. It can come down to family as well, as being able to create a healthy, happy family for yourself in a way where you can sense what's going on around you and what's going on within you and make a correction to help the people that you love. And I guess for me, it's just, it's a journey and it's never ending, really. I think we just need to play and laugh a lot more and enjoy our lives, because this really isn't as serious as we believe it is, this whole experiment of life. So if you are super sensitive and you are empathic and you're out there trying to just cope with life, just give yourself a break. From this perspective, which is very personal, it has nothing to do with other people and other situations, what you're feeling. But don't make that a responsibility as if you're blaming yourself for what's going on. You don't want to repeat that pattern of there's something wrong with me. And just try to be with the earth and with nature as much as possible, because it will help you tremendously, especially in those moments when things get a little bit heavy. All right, I'm done talking now. See you soon. Bye.